Hello world, it is Thursday, March 24th, 2022, and looking out the window in Defiance, it looks kind of overcast, and I didn't look at the weather report this morning, but I think even today and tomorrow it's still supposed to be kind of touchy weather with some intermittent rain perhaps as well. Damp, March spring weather. The devotion for today is entitled From the East and the West and the North and the South by Jennifer Brownell. Jennifer bases the devotion upon Psalm 107 verses 2-3, the New Revised Standard Version. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, those God redeemed from trouble and gathered in from the lands, from the east and from the west, and from the north and from the south. And Jennifer writes, I was raised in the far north. It's not Canada, but you can see it from here north. In young adulthood, I traveled to Georgia for the first time on a work trip. My, what lovely homes, I enthused to my hostess as she drove me around town. Yes, she drawled. Of course, when Sherman marched to the sea, he missed us. I honestly had to think for a moment before I even knew what she was talking about. To a northern girl, Sherman's march to the sea was ancient history. To my southern hostess, the devastation of the Civil War was part of her daily lived experience. Where we come from forms us differently, and those differences are often exploited by people in power to keep us separate from one another. The Southern strategy, for example, a ploy to keep the poor of all races fighting each other instead of the system that disempowers them, continues to mold our thinking and our actions. In many churches, we are called to the communion table from the east and the west and the north and the south. The differences we bring are not erased. We are still from wherever we are from, but gathered at Christ's table, our differences strengthen us instead of divide us. And the prayer. Brother Christ, thank you for redeeming us from trouble and gathering us in from all the directions for the feast you prepare for us. Amen. Well, this devotion brings up a few thoughts in my mind, and one is how people in power try to maintain power by keeping the people beneath them fighting each other instead of them, because they know that a united people have so much more strength, and as long as the people beneath them are fighting each other, they don't have to worry about those people noticing what they're doing. And that's from time immemorial. It has always been that way. And I think that's what kind of may have been part of what scared the Roman Empire and those in power in the Jewish community whose own power was tied to the Roman Empire. And that's what they were worried about. Jesus, because he was bringing people together. And sometimes I wonder, and maybe it's just my cynical mind, if that's not what Constantine also worried about. And so he made Christianity a state religion because he didn't want the Christians aligned against the Roman Empire, but wanted to control them. So brought them in. Of course, that's maybe getting way off track, but those are the kind of thoughts that run through my mind when I read a devotion like this. And the other thing is to remember that when we do gather for communion, we gather as one community, as diverse as our viewpoints may be, as diverse as our understanding of the Bible may be. When we commune at the table, we are communing as Christ's brothers and sisters of one another. So lots to think about there. It is Thursday. I probably will not be able to do devotions on Friday and Saturday, so I hope you'll join us on Sunday for worship. We are both doing Facebook Live and in person, so whatever you feel most comfortable with, please join us. And I will be back on Monday with a new devotion.